Never would have made it without you. I would have lost it all. But now I see you were there for me, and I can say never would have made it. Never would have made it without you. Would have lost it all. But now I see you were there for me, and I can say I'm stronger, wiser, I'm better, much better. When I look back over all you brought me through, I see it was you. You were the one I held on to. I can say I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm better, much better. When I look back over all you brought me through, I know it was you. You're the one I held on to. That's what I can say. I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it through the storm. I made it through the rain. I made it through heartache. I made it through pain. I made it. I made it. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been through the storm. I've been through the rain. But I stand here today to tell somebody I made it. It was hard, but I made it. I had to cry, but I made it. Got rough, but I made it. Wanted to throw in the towel, but I made up in my mind. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Never would have made it. Come on, throw your hands up and declare it. I never would have made it. If it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, I wouldn't be standing here today. I wish I had 20 of y'all to throw your hands up. Come on and testify and say, I made it. I made it. I made it. I made it. I need to talk to everybody that's been to hell and back. Throw your hands up if the devil thought he was going to take you out and shout, I never would have made it. Say I never would have made it without you. Lord, never would have made it. Never would have made it. Touch somebody, tell them we're going to make it through this. Come on, touch somebody, tell them we're going to make it through this. Matthew chapter 5. I have your Bible. Matthew chapter 5. Somebody make sure y'all don't have Elder Crowder's Bible. Thank you. Who Bible up here? Is that it? Matthew chapter number 5. Let's go back to verse 13. Hallelujah. Matthew chapter number 5. The first one. Turn it up to the first one. Yes. Look. Just thank you. There you go. Good job. Matthew chapter 5. Verse 13. If you're there, shout, I'm there.
I'm there.
Amen. I want to read from the Amplified Bible, verses 13 through 16. Y'all help me preach today. Amplified version. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste, its strength, its quality, how can its saltiness be restored? It is not good for anything any longer but to be thrown out and trodden underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill, set on a hill, cannot be hidden. Nor do men light a lamp and put it under a peck measure, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your moral excellence and your praiseworthy, noble, and good deeds, and recognize and honor and praise and glorify your Father who are in heaven. I want to preach part 2 of conversation we started last week on influence. Amen. Look at somebody, tell them you have influence. You have influence. Amen. That's what I'm going to talk for a few minutes. Amen. Clyde, y'all pray for me. Amen. Influence. Somebody shout, we got influence.
We got influence.
We talked last week, brothers and sisters, because we have to understand that the church should be seeking to influence a change in our society. Unfortunately, brothers and sisters, the general perception of the church in this social media age is that the church has become irrelevant and dying with just a few old ladies attending. Church leaders are generally portrayed as being weird, old-fashioned, and stupid. Yet the Bible tells us that the church, brothers and sisters, is the bride of Christ. Amen. Something that Christ loves and is passionate about. One thing you better not mess with. You better not mess with God's church. Amen. Brothers and sisters, we live in a society that is in a mess. Despite the efforts of government and politicians, things in our society tend to get worse and worse. Despite the best efforts, things seem to not be turning around like they're supposed to. So the question then becomes, how can the church more effectively bring the wisdom of God to rulers and authorities and also to society in general? One strategy, brothers and sisters, that churches use increasingly is called the mountains or spheres of influence. If you're writing, write that down. Mountains or spheres of influence. Sometimes people refer to this as the 7 mountains of culture, formulated by Francis Schaeffer, Lauren Cunningham, and Bill Bright in 1975. This method details a way of reaching various people groups through the following spheres. Originally, there were 7 areas of influence which can be easily remembered by following the first 7 letters of the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. A, if you're writing, stands for arts. It includes the areas of painting, sculpture, handcraft, cinema, writing, dancing, poetry, music, so on. That's the first sphere or mountain of influence we should have in the arts. The second, B, business and commerce. C, church or religion. D, distribution of media. This includes newspapers, television, journalism, internet, radio, magazines. The next one is E, education. This covers schools, colleges, universities, informal training. F, family. This includes fostering and adoption, parenting and marriage counseling. G, government. This includes police members, members of parliament, lawyers. The church has been called to influence each sphere or mountain that we just named. The church is supposed to influence everything. Amen. Now, for those of you that are writing that missed it, let me try it again. A stands for art. B for business. C for church. D for distribution and media. E for education. F for family. G for government. Which brings up the text. Because the text figures and gives the figures of salt and light to emphasize different characteristics of influence, but their basic purpose is the same. Salt and light, brothers and sisters, are both necessary elements. If Jesus said he was in the world to influence the world and has shifted the power to us, he says then to us, we are the salt and the light, which means, brothers and sisters, that he made us to be distinct among those who are in the world. The world needs salt because it is in a corrupt state. It needs light because it's in the dark. The world, brothers and sisters, that we live in is not just dark, but it's getting darker with the wickedness of men. The world, brothers and sisters, cannot do anything but get worse because it has no inherent goodness to build on. It has no inherent spiritual and moral life in which it can grow. And so year after year, the system of evil accumulates a deeper darkness. Man, we find, has increased in scientific and medical and historical and educational and psychological and technological knowledge to an astounding degree. But man has not changed his own basic nature, and he has not improved society. With all of the great things and inventions and stuff that we have made, we have not gotten better. And I know y'all looking at me funny because you can't handle the fact that I'm giving all this information and making it so practical, because we think that it's our job just to come in here and shout and dance and never do anything else after we leave the church. But popular to contrary belief, brothers and sisters, life does not begin when you walk in the church. It begins when you walk out. It is what you do with the influence that God has given us that makes the difference. Look at somebody, tell them we got influence. Brothers and sisters, man's knowledge has greatly improved, but his morals have progressively degenerated. His confidence has increased, but his peace of mind has diminished. And God saw this even before now. We read in Genesis chapter 6, verse number 5, when the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was so great on the earth, and that every intent of his thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Man, brothers and sisters, is infected with a deadly virus called sin, which has no cure apart from God. I don't care how much counseling we go to. I don't care how many books we read to try to maximize your mind. I don't care how many steps people can show you how to get more money. It is not about money. I'll prove it. The Bible, I know this elementary preacher, but 10 of y'all push me. I know the Bible said, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and then lose his soul? house. He don't care about you driving a fancy car. He don't care about you having money sandwiches in your pocket if your heart is not connected to him. Let's go further. The Bible helps us to understand. I believe it was John who picked it up and said that God says, I wish above all that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul is prospering. The problem is the prosperity boys took this text and screwed it up and tried to make y'all believe that God wanted you rich, but he wanted you rich on the same level of your soul prosperity, which means if you got a lot of money, but your soul is still jacked up, you in a bad situation. You still in debt. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You still in debt, and some of us are in spiritual debt because we don't understand what it means to be on the same level of real prosperity. Prosperity is not about how much money you have. It's about how much God is on the inside. Well, I'm not hearing what I'm saying. You got to understand God is after soul enrichment. He's not about giving it. Now, don't get me wrong. God does not mind you having money, but he does not want money to have you. And some of us, our identity has been locked up in our possessions. And that is the message that we give to this generation. And that's why everybody is tripping. Everybody wants to rob and steal and kill because the old patriarchs, the elders, the old men stopped teaching these boys the truth. I remember a day that granddaddy would be outside with his hood raised. He'd be changing the oil. His hands were dirty. I didn't understand it. I thought he was nasty. I would come outside and say, what you doing? And when you got all that black stuff on your hands, he had to put a scrubber on his hands to scrub the dirt and the grime off of his hands. And granddaddy scrubbing his hands together saying, a real man know how to get dirty. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You got to watch where we live. And that's why I'm going to get in a whole lot of trouble, but I ain't scared. That's why a whole lot of men are giving up their masculinity for femininity because I don't want to get my hands dirty. People that walk around getting manicures, putting fake nails on to be something that they're not. And the devil is killing us because he's tainting the seed. And I came to tell you, we need to be a voice for the truth as the church. We can no longer sit around and hide in our churches being quiet like we don't have anything to say. I made up my mind. I got to open my mouth and I got to blow my trumpet because at the end of the day, I'd rather have all y'all mad at me and be able to sleep at night than to not have walked in my assignment and I've got to answer to God. I wish I had help in here that can help me preach and testify. My obligation as the watchman on the wall is to tell you the truth. And the truth is the church has been quiet for too long. I love to shout. I might shout before the service is over. I love to run. Might run before the service is over. I love to speak in tongues. I might do it before the service is over. But at the end of the day, that's not what makes me who I am. What makes me who I am is the fact that I've got enough power in me to tell the sinner, you don't have to die the way you are. And you can change. Y'all not preaching. I don't care if you never change your money status. I don't care if you never get a raise on your job. The fact that you saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled says to me, you got something to live for. Touch somebody and tell them I got influence. Got to understand that the devil is after us because he don't want us to walk in our calling. That's why the people that surround me, I'm tapping into their gifts because I want you to understand. I don't want you to just show up every week talking about I'm a member of Resurrection. I don't just want members. I want people that understand discipleship, that says that if I ever fall back, I can toss the mic to anybody and you can pick up where I left off. Y'all don't hear what I'm saying? Because we got a whole lot of people that call themselves church members, but they don't want to teach nobody how to teach because we are jealous and we are envious and we've got identity crisis. So the only way to hold the church hostage is you think you're the only one that can do what you do. But I came to tell you as your pastor, the devil is a stand monkey liar. I'm making duplicates of everybody. Can I tell you why? Ain't none of you boogers gonna walk in here and say, I'm amazed because when you look in the natural realm, anytime the doctor would diagnose you with a disease, Elder Crowder, people will go broke trying to get medicine to cure the disease. Everybody will go. You let them come in here and tell you you got cancer. Any cancer survivors in here? I got Mama Israel. I got a bunch of cancer people who have survived in this room. But can I tell you how they survived? By the grace of God. But let's go further. Let's go further. It amazes me though. Whenever you go and get a diagnosis, the diagnosis, whatever it is, most people go get medicine. They get a prescription. They go get a specialist. Watch where I'm going. They go get a specialist, Dominique, because the specialist is supposed to be designed to cure whatever they need cured. But end of the trip, you got a specialist right here and tell you your heart is full of sin. And you mad at me because I tell you the truth. Because you don't want this medicine. But y'all don't hear what I'm saying. But if the doctor tell you got something, you go and borrow money so that you can pick. I just need $10 to get my scripture. Oh, but I ain't never seen a book of borrow money to pay tithes. Y'all don't want to hear. I almost right. Y'all don't hear me. I ain't never seen people that say, hey, can I borrow 20 till I get paid because I want to sow a seed? Y'all don't hear me preach. But I promise you, if you want Popeyes after church and you ain't got no ends, you boogers be on the text message talking about what we eat. You know what we eat mean? It mean I ain't got no money, so I need you to spot me. But we don't do that in the world, but we don't do it in the church. Touch somebody, tell them influence.
Come on now. Yeah.
It's a trip because we are on a downward spiral. Because people want to do whatever they want. Now, I ain't tripping. I heard Beyonce was here.
Yeah.
I heard Jay-Z was here. I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. I hope y'all had a good time. But I know you ain't walking out for free. I know you right. Wait a minute. Can I go further? End of the trip, because I saw somebody's Snapchat. It's a trip. I looked at the audience. Oh, it was packed to the rafters. I'm talking about it was people that was way up there. They had to have big screens so you could see what was going on the stage. Because if you like me, I got contacts in because I can't see that far. They got the big screen for people like me that can't see. But I got a question. Can y'all look around the room? Do you see it packed to the rafters? Can I tell you why? Because Jay-Z and Beyonce ain't up in here, which means influence, which means the world has become more influential than the church. I remember a day when Granddaddy used to drive 18-wheelers. Granddaddy used to come home, park his 18-wheeler, get out the car, come in the house, get him some dinner, go in the bathroom, clean up, came out with some Dr. Pants on, and a blazer, and a shirt that he would cut on the outside, you know, that old 60s stuff. And Granddaddy, where you going? It's Bible study. He got out the car, off the job, in the house, eat his dinner, take a shower, dress himself, and go to church. And some of you boys talking about, I'm just tired. I work all of these long hours trying to make it. Can I tell you, if you learn how to get in God, God will show you how to work smarter, not harder. I wish y'all would help me preach. Touch somebody, tell them you got influence. And can I pause and prophesy and tell you some things you don't have to kill yourself working for. Some things you got to sow a seed and believe God for. Because every seed that I'm planting, I'm telling God, I need you to work a miracle in my life. I need you to work a miracle. Somebody throw your hand up and shout, Lord, give us our influence back.
Yes, sir.
How do we influence the world, brothers and sisters? I'm finna go. We have to understand we influence by separation.
Amen.
Somebody shout separate.
Separate.
The church cannot accept the world's self-centeredness.
That's right.
We cannot accept the world's easy solutions.
That's right.
We cannot accept the world's immorality. cannot accept the world's amorality. We cannot accept the world's perception of materialism. You are not what you have.
That's right. That's right.
Come on. I know people who don't have half of what some of us have. And got more sense, they're more happy, they have more peace, they sleep well at night. Let me pause and have a Pastor Emeritus moment. Pastor Emeritus used to always stand up and say, before we ended the sermon, I ain't worried about none of y'all. As long as rosemary fried that chicken and give me them beans, sometimes y'all don't hear what I'm saying. It tastes so good. When all of y'all trying to go to Papa Do's and spend $50, the old folk will tell you some of the money you spend to eat out can buy you at least 2 months of groceries. Y'all don't hear me. But we've been influenced by the world. We think it's fancy to check in at restaurants. I thought Papa Do's was the stuff until I ate there 3 times. Thank God for Minister Edwards. Edwards took me to Papa Do's one time, and I've never been the same. When I saw the ticket, I was never the same. I said, we spent $50 to come here. I can get one of the sisters in the church to fry his chicken Louisiana style. Y'all don't hear me. It's not about where you go. That don't make you who you are. It's not about what you have on that makes you who you are. Because if you strip us down to the bare necessities, if it had not been for the Lord that was on our side, we still wouldn't be nothing. I need y'all to help me preach. Touch somebody and tell them you are not what you have. You are what has you. And I'd rather have Jesus than silver and gold. Touch somebody, tell them, get your influence back. Get your influence. So we are called, brothers and sisters, to minister to the world while being separated from its standards and its ways. The church today is more influenced by the world than the world is influenced by the church. When you look at verses 13 and 14, you will notice something. The pronoun you is emphatic. That word you, it's emphatic. The idea is, brothers and sisters, you are the only salt of the world. You are the only light of the world, which says that the world does not get in position until the church gets in position. Which says, brothers and sisters, you're not waiting on the world is waiting on you. I got a question for all y'all. Let's see if y'all be honest at 20 minutes to 11. Is there anybody here that can testify? I'm not as influential for the kingdom as I need to be. Don't be honest. Don't be honest. Because everybody in this room can testify. God has given you an opportunity to minister to somebody's needs, and you walk by them and say, I ain't in the mood. I'm just having a bad day. I ain't got no time for this. Or you know the famous saying, them people don't want to hear me. Well, I discovered in 3 years of pastoring, it's some of y'all coming here and don't want to hear me. That ain't gonna stop me from saying it, because you ain't gonna be able to leave here and say that you didn't hear me say that what you're doing is right or wrong. No, baby. At the end of the day, you can be mad all you want to, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. Let me tell you why. Because I made up my mind. I'm not gonna be in slavery because I'm looking for your accolades. If I want to know how sexy I am, I got a woman that'll tell me I look good. I ain't stuck because I understand something. This is the season for emancipation. Grab somebody by the hand, look them in the face. Tell them I pronounce you free of other people's opinions. I announce you free of everybody looking at you. I pronounce you free of worrying about meeting other people's expectations. I have to live for God. Somebody shout, live for him, live for him. You. That's why you, brothers and sisters, point to your neighbor and say you. Point your finger, tell them you. You have got to get in place. You have got to be who God has called you to be. Now wait a minute, y'all. Which says then, I don't need everybody's validation. I don't need everybody pushing me. I don't need everybody backing me. But if I get in my assignment, God will give me somebody that will see the direction I'm supposed to be going in, and he will use them to pull me out of what I've been struggling with. I came to prophesy to some of y'all and tell you getting ready to get a visitation. Because God is getting ready to orchestrate that you're getting ready to be introduced to the people that's going to take you to the next level. And you don't know where it's coming from. Sunshine, it might not even be in the church. It might be somebody in the streets that don't even look like a church member. But they're going to be the greatest blessing of your touch somebody and tell them, I got a big blessing on the way. Y'all not telling nobody, oh, is that a fly? Y'all scared? Somebody kill that, please. Look at somebody and tell them, I got a big blessing that's on the way. Oh, is that a wasp? I'm scared, huh? Somebody shout influence. Watch this, watch this. The problem with the church, brothers and sisters, is that the church has somehow fizzled into the mold of the world, and we have lost our influence. Brothers and sisters, we cannot become the world to reach the world. Are y'all looking at me? Are y'all scared of a fly? I said you cannot blend in with the world and try to reach them at the same, which means you cannot do what the world does and then try to compel them. See, that's where we get messed up. We try to smoke weed with them and then tell them to come to church. We try to gossip with them and then compel them to come to God. Because you cannot gossip with me 1 minute and then evangelize me the next.
That's right. That's right.
It would be the equivalent of me taking a woman to the hotel room to get motel. And after I beat her back out, I tell her, come join my church. Oh, y'all ain't like that either, did you? I said you can, I ain't scared of y'all. I said you can't blend in with them and then evangelize them. Come on here. You like that beat you back out. Church, y'all. You cannot blend with them and then evangelize. Which says this, y'all. We have to be the conduit that God uses to change the trajectory of what church is. Because let me pause and tell some of y'all something. Some of y'all make serving God look so boring. Because you got more rules than the Bible. Amen. You don't want nobody to smile. Don't be smiling in church. Don't be laughing in church. This is a serious place. It's a serious moment. This is a holy. Yes, we know it's holy. We know it's serious. But you got to understand, the world is watching us, and everybody has got to understand you cannot live your life on unscriptorial rules and regulations. Somebody shout, be an example.
Be an example.
We're going to bind this wasp spirit. Because I'm not trying to kill this fly. I guess I can finish my sermon now. Y'all trying to be salt and light to the fly. Somebody shout influence. Yeah. Watch this. Kind of quick. The you in both verses is plural. Watch this. Which means it is the whole body, the church, that is called to be the world's salt and light. Each grain of salt, watch this, y'all, has its limited influence. But it is only as the church collectively that we can be scattered in the world and affect change in the world. Let me quit. I'll quit. God has not given everybody everything. Amen. Lord, I'm going to preach myself into a frenzy. He has not given everybody everything. Watch this. I'm going to cuss at some of y'all. Because he wanted you to be in the position to need somebody else. Amen. So all you doers walking around here talking about, I don't need nobody but God. You lying. Why? Because God put everything you need in somebody else. Let me see if I can go further. Anybody ever had a bill that needed to be paid? Anybody ever had a bill that needed to be paid and you didn't have the money to pay the bill? All right, let me ask you a question. Did God step out of heaven and pay your bill? No, he sent somebody. Which means everybody in this room needs somebody. Wait a minute. Me and Linda gonna shout, me and Linda one-on-one. That's why you need enemies. Because God says, I'll make your enemies your footstool. And even God knows our feet need a recliner. So he gave us enemies. He gave us enemies. You need enemies to see you go up. You don't need enemies so you can retaliate. You need enemies so you can elevate. Somebody's trying to elevate. That's why you need to understand. Not only do you have influence over the world, you got influence over everything you touch. I need to pause and tell you, your children are blessed. Your children's children are blessed. Can I tell you why they're blessed? Because they're connected to you and you connected to God. And I came to tell you, your daughter is not a female dog. She is not a helper. Your son is not like his no good daddy. You might have dropped the ball with his daddy, but you better pick that booger up with your son and tell your son you are a prince. You are a king. You are a king's kid. You ain't stupid. I don't care what the school system says. You are not ESL. Y'all don't want to talk to me, do you? You are not dumb. You can pass. You ain't got to get no extra classes. You don't need nobody to cheat for you. All you got to do is have faith in God. Somebody shout, I know you're right about it. I'm sick of the school system giving our children a test to tell them how stupid they are. You ain't dumb, you lazy. You need to get off of Fortnite and study. Y'all don't want to talk to me. I said that. I'm a father, all you boogers. You need to cut the TV off and read a book. Stop getting home, getting on the internet, looking at stuff and playing games. You got to understand, the world is setting us up for failure. We got to do something to get ahead of the class.
Right. Breathe.
Y'all ain't gonna shout today, huh?
Breathe.
Amen.
Our children come home and get on YouTube.
Yes, sir.
Don't know nothing. Can't read a book.
Amen.
Y'all don't want to talk to you.
Can't figure math.
Can I tell you, here's what I discovered. Well, I'm finna quit. I discovered the purpose of those deep math equations. It's not because you're going to need math when you grow up. It stretches your mental capacity. The fact that you learn how to problem solve. Some of y'all, I'm sorry. Some of you jokers got attitudes, but don't have enough common sense to get out of a wet paper bag. You need to shut up. I was walking around trying to give people a piece with your dumb self. That's why you crazy now. You done gave everybody a piece of your mind. Everybody ain't worth your time. Everybody ain't worth you getting mad. Everybody ain't worth the response. Sometimes you gotta be smarter than the stupid people. Somebody shout influence.
Yes, sir.
You gotta separate from the word. Now watch this. Salt and light represents the identity of the Christian. You are in the world. You are. So you cannot walk around as if you have no significance. Watch this. Even if you don't have a name, you still have significance.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You might not have a national platform, but you have significance.
Amen.
I prove it. I went somewhere to preach, and actually, Pastor Hines had to preach this morning. That's why he left. But when Hines met me, he met me at another church, preaching on the program with me. But he walked up to me when I walked in the door. I came in, and he looked at me. And when he looked at me, he said, "You Kareem Jackson?" I said, "Yeah." "Man, I watch you every week." I said, "What? I watch you every week." "Man, you a preacher. Man, I would love to come come visit. Not for us, me and Tiffany, that's Hollywood, you know, whatever. But it was almost as if he was more astonished to see me. I'm like, dude, to me, I'm nobody. To me, I'm nobody. You know, like, man, look, shoot, if you come from where we come from, they knew you by Clarence Stewart's grandson. That's how they knew you. Oh, y'all go to the Stewart's church. You know, it was kind of like in the Bible. You know, they didn't know your name. They knew where you came from.
Yeah.
To me, I'm a nobody. But it amazes me. I go places, people see me. We've been in the store. Matter of fact, we were in H-E-B in Pearland, walking by the alcohol aisle, going to the meat aisle. And a lady screamed out, "Pastor Jackson!" Tiffany looked at me, I looked at her like, which one of us gonna turn around first? So I did one of them easy turns, you know them. You don't know me. You got that right. But I've seen you preach. Like, well, I appreciate all you preach. All you preach. Tiffany looking at me like, because see, we got this thing, you know, we go places, some people know me, some people know Tiffany, so it just depends on who know who. You know, if somebody know me, you know, she giving me the hand, like, you the man. You know, if somebody know her, I'm like, yeah, you know, yeah, it's your turn. But it amazes me, because what happens if they were able to identify me by my preaching? Looked in the basket and saw alcohol.
All right. All right. All right.
You've been on 26.
See, most of us don't consider this kind of stuff. That's why I be on y'all about, y'all check in the resurrection, and I ain't tripping, thank you for coming to church. But then, by the time service is over, you cussing folk out on the same social media.
We missed that guy. We missed that one.
That's somebody.
Listen, man, I ain't against you having fun. I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. And I'm not your judge. But at least, don't taint your testimony.
Amen.
Boy, y'all don't like me either.
Oh, yes, I do.
There are some venues I can't go in.
That's right.
I can't. Because I know who I am. Let me so I'm finished. There are some places I can't go. Because I know who I am. And then one day I took Tiffany out on a date. We were eating. Tiffany said, "Man, baby, would you mind?" I said, "What?" I want a slush. I'm like, "Okay, yeah, get you a slush." She go, "You think it'll be all right if I have a virgin daiquiri?" I said, "Heck no." "You want a slush? I'll take you to one of the Bobo Skitties, the freshy slushies, and we'll get you one. It'll be just my luck. You sitting up here with a virgin daiquiri."
Somebody come in.
And somebody walk up in here. "Okay, Pastor, first thing was drinking a daiquiri." Now we know ain't no after, but you know, perception is everything. You can't win them by being like, "I'm gonna go," but I hear the Holy Ghost telling me to say this, so let me drop. You also can't win them by compromising lies.
Amen.
See, if I have to lie to you to get you, I gotta keep lying to you to keep you. So I'm gonna tell you the truth and let you get mad at me first. Then you can decide if I'm gonna be your man of God or not. Because I realize I'm not assigned to everybody. I was sharing with somebody, I said, I'm not saying that, you know, people don't love me. I don't have time to decipher who do and who don't. But I do realize there are some people who come into our churches, no matter what we say, they're going to do what they want to do. And I'm not talking, look, I'm a lover, but I'm going to work right around you. No, because see, most of us, we spend our time and efforts complaining about what's not being done, that you can't get anything done.
Yes, sir.
The people that's going to work with me, going to work with me. The people that's going to work against me, going to have to deal with God. But here's what I discovered. We don't have gimmicks. We don't have games. All we have is the power of God. Y'all overlook me today. I've been preaching all weekend. I ain't hollering or nothing today. All we have is the power of God. Somebody prophesied to me last night after I preached and said, Kareem, I've never been in your church, never stepped foot in your church. He said, but the Lord shook my hand and said, the Lord told me to tell you that God is shifting your church to a church of deliverance. Amen. Never step foot in here. Don't even know what we do over here. But here's my point. When things start moving and changing, it looks crazy to some people. And most people fight it because, not just because they don't understand it, people don't want change. We just want to do, why you gotta mess up everything by doing something different? Everybody in this room don't even want a relationship that's the same. If you broke up with somebody, you don't want the next person to do the exact. Wait a minute, because some of y'all do it. And that's exactly why your life is the way your life is. There's no excitement. I'm closing. I said that about myself. I was on the phone with Tim. I told Tim, and I said, man, I'm bored with life. Bored. Just seems like the same routine every day. Bored. I need something. I don't even know what I need. I just know I need something different from what I'm doing right now. I need a vacation, yeah. I'm serious. Because now every day to me seems the same. Now I know Tuesday because I go to class on Tuesday. Bible study on Tuesday. I know Tuesday. Monday's a blur. Wednesday's a blur. Friday, Saturday is a blur. Like Sunday morning I get life. That ain't normal, but something wrong with that. I'm serious, something wrong with that. But here's what I'm saying. I'm closing. You gotta learn how to be who God called you to be. Watch this. Everywhere you go. Don't come in here with your church. I don't see your church face. Because if you catch me in the streets, I'm the same guy, same dude. I joke with you, I laugh with you, if I deal with you. But just because, Dominique, you know, I'm honest. And just because I see you in church don't mean, look, I speak to you, that don't mean I'm a holder. Look, man, I'm the same guy. If I don't deal with you in church, I can see you in Family Dollar, I'm going to speak to you. But I'm still not going to be fake and phony because I can't do that. That's not, it'll show on my face. Everybody who know me, it'll show on my face. That's why I try to tell Pastor Will, me and Pastor Will together a lot. I said, man, watch your face. They be looking at me, I'm looking at you. Both our faces be jacked up. Because when something go down, and before I know it, something go down, I'm like, Tiffany being honest, your face. Touch Dominic, tell him his face. I can't be fake. I'm saying to you, I can't help you if you're lying to me. You come here acting like you ain't got no problems, I can't help you. I'm assigned to the jacked up people because I'm jacked up. I'm with you. That's what I tell you, I can't judge you, I'm with you.
Say that.
But I can't help you with what you don't admit. Some of y'all got struggles you won't even admit. I respect the folk in here that say, Pastor, I love the Lord. They catch me on wrong, I'm gonna cuss there behind. I respect that. I correct it, but I respect it because some of y'all be acting like you just, oh, I just blessed, I just be favored, oh, I just love the Lord 24 hours a day. You're behind cuss like a sailor. Can't help, man. Y'all be phony, man. This is the wrong place to come and be phony. If you gonna be real anywhere, you might well be real in the church. God can deliver you from what you're dealing with. But you're going to have to deal with it, man. And you're going to have to recognize you ain't perfect. You got some problems. Look at somebody say, you got some problems. Be careful. Be careful how you influence. Who you influence. Now let me say this to us parents. I got a word from the Lord for you. This is the season to speak life. Speak life. Speak life. I know you get frustrated because most of us in here are single parents. I know we got stepfathers in here. You raising kids that's not yours. And Lord, don't let you be raising a kid that's not yours and you got to deal with the mama always saying something when you say something to the child. That's a whole nother frustration. I understand. But don't speak out of your frustration. You got to speak life. These kids coming into the world, I don't care what y'all say, they old and fogey, call it whatever you want. These kids don't need Jesus. Which says, man, we can't afford to miss church. But let me go further. We can't afford to come in here playing games. Because somebody's life is going to depend on the word that's being preached. The demonstration of the power of God. Somebody's life is going to depend on. If the men in this church are passive, and these single mothers with boys around here, especially if they watching you, what you think we're going to produce? Amen. We're going to produce a bunch of sorry, lazy, no good jokers who have the proclivity to believe they can lay on a chick's couch while she go to work. Somebody perpetuated that junk. And I'm blaming some of us men because we didn't stop it and say, Negro, get your behind up. You gonna go outside and act like you cutting some ground. I don't care if you're pulling up with a fork. You cutting something. You doing something today. I gotta tell my boys, hey man, go clean your room. Clean your room. Clean your room. Clean your room. Go clean your room. Don't be no lazy people around here. I said, Dominique, I said I would never do this and found myself doing. I said, Sean, I would never do what I saw some of them do. I would never make a mess and let the kid clean it up till I realized they were lazy. I went in there and threw paper everywhere. Kareem! Sir, clean that up for me. No, because then I found out he didn't know how to sweep. Come here, let me show you. See, now it's a teaching moment. Y'all think it's cruel. But everybody in here parent did that. Amen. And if you was in a house like ours, man, if they found one spot on the dish, they said, well, that dish dirty. Thank you. Them boogers pulled a whole cabinet of dishes out. See, nowadays they say that's child abuse, but that's why our children are lazy. Them boogers think life consistent. That's all they do. And you say, what's 2 plus 2? Huh? I asked the guy what integrity meant. That boy told me that was a big word. Oh my Lord. I said, can you define integrity? He said, man, that's kind of a big word. I never heard that before. Man, I saw people at the Beyonce concert, they knew the words to the song. Some of them knew the dances. They knew the lyrics. They knew when to move. Folk come to church be looking like this is a whole new world. Because we're not working our influence. Amen. So here's my prayer. I'm finna pray. Lift your hands. I'm finna pray. My prayer today is that we get our influence back. That as the church we rise with power. Father, I pray that you would help us to maximize every sphere of influence. I pray in the name of Jesus that you would give us our voice back. God, as pastor and leader of this church, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the position, but I don't take this for granted. I pray that every week we come, every Tuesday, every Sunday, every platform that you give me, I want to speak life, but I want to influence people to advance the kingdom. And God, I don't want to just have church as usual. I don't want to just come in here and do the same old routine and we leave with no transformation. So God, I don't care how much we shout and we dance. I want to see our people change. Help us to change, Father. Let lives be transformed. God, every week, thank you for allowing me to speak into the lives of your people. And I pray for continual and constant change and transformation to take place in our lives. We are the salt of the earth. We are the light of the world. So let us change the flavor. And everywhere we go, let us shine. And I thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen. Somebody clap your hands and bless the Lord. Go ahead.